This series of videos will guide you through week 5 exercise. This is the one where we do the CSS designer. We're using Dreamweaver for our purposes. So the directions on this page, CSS designer using the Microsoft product, will be changed for your class. You'll be using Dreamweaver. So let me get started. First thing we should do is download the files that we're going to be using, which are going to be setup.docx. That's a Word document. And then there's week5.zip. Week5.zip contains all the images that will result in you making this CSS design. We're going to start out with a very bare skeleton layout of an HTML page. It doesn't have any color, it doesn't have any images. These are the images that are in the zip file. This setup is the recipe that you're going to follow to make it look like this page. So to get started, like I said, I'm going to download first of all the setup.doc. So save link as, I'm right clicking on that, and I'm going to save it on my desktop. It's already there since I've already set it up, but I'll download it again. It's just I'll replace it. Yours you don't have to replace. And I'll download the zip file. I'm right clicking, save link as, and I'm going to click desktop. Notice how I'm putting everything on desktop so it doesn't get lost. If you have a flash drive, don't do the flash drive yet. We'll back it up at the end of class. I'm going to minimize this to see what's going on my desktop. So I have actually I have two week 5s because one of them has a 1 on it. If yours has a 1 on it, that's fine. I'm going to delete mine just so it doesn't get confusing. But yours should have a week 5 zip file. You can tell the zip file with the zipper. And then you should have this setup. I'm going to double click on setup to have it open. For the remainder of this exercise, this will be open so that we can follow the recipe. This will be a series of videos like I mentioned, so I'm going to do part by part and make separate videos for them. As a matter of fact, just to make things a little bit easier and not have Word confuse me, I'm going to say, ask me later about that. I'm going to press Ctrl A to select all of this stuff and then use the much simpler Notepad++. So I call it up Notepad++. And then just paste that information here, and I'll follow this along for the rest of the exercise. I'm going to move it out of the way and just call it up whenever it's needed. So since I said we're doing Dreamweaver, clicking on the Windows menu, and I'm going to type in the word Dream. There's only one version of Dreamweaver in your classroom computers. If there's any others, please use the one that says CC 2018. That's the one that will be used for this video. Your computers don't remember anything. They're dumb terminals. So this first video will show you how to set up Dreamweaver so that we're all working similarly, or at least alike, through the exercise. Make this a little smaller. I'm still waiting for Dreamweaver to launch. I'm going to try again to see if there's any luck. Okay, and there it is. If at first you fail, try again. Although this looks like a lot of information, it's all just CSS, so don't worry too much about it. So to get it set up, please follow these steps. So have you used Dreamweaver CC previously? Let's say that yes, I have. Welcome back. It's going to say choose between the color themes. I'm going to pick the white background because it's easier to read. Choose your workspace. You want the standard workspace because that's the one that will show you all the tools and all the windows. And then it's just trying to sell you on some stuff. I'm going to right click a couple of times, and I think we've seen all of this, and you're all set. Get started. If at some point you chose to pick something else, you'll need to restart your computer. So here's the standard Dreamweaver setup. This is very important that this file is open right away because it shows us where we're going to be putting our stuff and to play. If you have a flash drive, once again, do not worry about this just yet. I'm going to minimize Dreamweaver, and I'm going to then right click on my desktop and say create new folder. In this folder, I'm going to call it my site. Whenever you're naming directories and files, please do not use spaces. So there's my site. I'm going to right click the zip file and tell it to extract all, and just pick extract. That's going to put it into the desktop. So now we have week 5 and Mac OS X. Ignore that. Double click on week 5, and here's all the stuff we're going to be using. Week 5 HTML is the document we're going to be affecting the design in. Styles is our CSS. Images is the folder with all the little pictures that are going to be on the page at the end. I'm going to select all of these. I'm clicking and dragging, and then I'm going to click and drag all of this stuff into my site. Now that that's done, I'm going to close this window. I'm going to return to Dreamweaver and make sure that on your desktop items you click double. Once the desktop items are open, I can go to my site, double click on that. Like I said, week 5 is the document we're going to be working on. The images are in this folder, styles are here. I'll double click on week 5 and we get to see the very basic page. This one is split horizontally. We're going to get lots of promotion for Adobe as this moves on. Just be sure to X out. So this is how you get set up with Dreamweaver, and the following videos will then show you how to get going along with all the coding. Before I stop this window, make sure that the DOM, you can double click on this. We won't be using it. Double clicking any of these tabs will just collapse. And be sure to find the CSS Designer tab right up here. That's what we're going to be working on. Make sure that in sources we can see this styles.css. I don't see it here yet, but we'll be finding it soon. Let me click on styles.css so that it knows it's there, and there it is. X that. I'll go back to the source code. I'm going to also change, this is my preference. If you want to do this horizontal, you can do that. I'm going to tell it to view mode, actually split vertically. And that's pretty much, well, one more thing, because right now this is showing me, I do believe this is giving me a live version of this. I'm going to go back to view and say view mode design, and then that way I get just the design. Of course, that turned off the split vertically, but I'll split to code and design. That's all I want. So now I see design on the left and I see code on the right. On the next video, we'll get started changing the CSS file and then continue with every part of the document that we downloaded.